And who can forget that Brady Bunch episode where the family went to Hawaii and Peter woke up to find the spider crawling up his chest? Yeah. Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 16 of Clay's Corner. Today, I want to talk about fear. What are you afraid of? What are your biggest fears? And I'm guessing that your fears, like mine, are a combination of rational and irrational ones, or maybe serious and trivial ones. My fears, indeed, are all over the map. I have a fear that the Vancouver Canucks will never win a Stanley Cup during my lifetime. I have a fear that I will be emceeing an event and no one laughs at my jokes. Actually, that one has come close to reality. And despite how much I've been traveling recently and my penchant to be able to get the emergency exit row seat on every flight I take, I have a fear that something bad will happen to the plane and that I actually have to reach up, pull down that handle, open the door, and lead other passengers to safety. But as I learned from the Spider-Man movies, with great power comes great responsibility. Looking past those fears of the Canucks not winning the Stanley Cup, of no one laughing at my jokes, and of plane trouble, I do have three legitimate fears that I often reflect on. Number one, spiders. I don't like the way they look. I don't like the way they move. I don't like the way they show up on my windowsill or my ceiling when I'm not expecting them to, when they crawl out from underneath a piece of furniture when I'm trying to watch TV. I'm getting all worked up just thinking about them. I don't know how on earth I sat through the movie Arachnophobia twice. And who can forget that Brady Bunch episode where the family went to Hawaii and Peter woke up to find the spider crawling up his chest. And Gail's always laughing at me. Sean and Jake are always laughing at me. Heck, even Kayla's always laughing at me because the four of them can easily dispose of spiders without even blinking an eye. Meanwhile, I'm usually jumping up on the couch or hiding behind it. Now, my number two fear isn't as serious, but it is very realistic. I have a fear of losing my voice right before a big speaking engagement. Now, thankfully, in my 2 decades of speaking, it hasn't happened to me so far. Now, there's certainly been times where I haven't felt 100% healthy in giving a talk. I think that goes with the wear and tear of traveling, of fatigue, of late nights, and so on. And I only have about a dozen speaking engagements a year. I can't imagine what it's like for someone who does that on a full-time basis. Regardless, I certainly spend time in prayer before every speaking engagement, that when I walk up to the microphone and open my mouth, English words come out. Whether or not they make sense together is another story. And my third and biggest fear is something bad happening to Gail, Sean, Jacob, or Kayla, or something bad happening to me, rendering me unable to provide for them or to care for them. I recognize that there are many things outside of the circle of my control, whether it be accidents or illnesses or whatever. And as a husband and a father, I pray unceasingly that God protects my wife, our kids, and our family as a whole. Now, I've mentioned God and prayer a couple times already, and I guess it goes without saying that it's my faith in God that helps me alleviate a lot of these fears. There's a reason why the most common phrase in the Bible is "do not be afraid." We are called to love God with all of our being, and we hear in the first epistle of John, there is no fear in love. Perfect love drives out fear. And I'll leave you with one last scripture from Paul's second letter to Timothy. It says this: "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." I'd love to learn about some of your fears, the rational ones, the irrational ones, the big ones, the small ones, the serious ones, the trivial ones, and most importantly, do you share my fear of spiders? Leave your comments below. I love to read them. And thank you for taking the time to watch this episode of Clay's Corner. God bless.